Hey, what's up out there, everybody? I want to thank you guys, as always, for stopping by the channel. It's very much appreciated. Today, we're getting into 1917 from director Sam Mendes. This one stars George Mackay and Dean Charles Chapman as two British soldiers during the First World War that are tasked with hand-delivering a message deep inside of enemy territory. And if they fail, more than 1,000 soldiers are going to be walking into a deadly trap the following morning. Now, this movie is being garnered as one of the year's best. It's created to look like one seamless take, so let's dive into the details and find out if this movie lives up to the hype. I think the trailers for this movie looked absolutely amazing. They wasted no time in capturing that continuous shot technique that would be used, and I gotta say it was a very impressive feat to accomplish when telling this story. The film opens up on these two soldiers just sitting underneath a tree enjoying a little bit of downtime, and they are given this task, and from there the camera doesn't leave these characters for the duration, and it was extremely immersive. You really do get to learn things as the characters are. You're facing firsthand the issues and dangers that they run into, and it was absolutely riveting and emotionally gripping at the same time. I think the seamless style of shooting was incredibly done. You have these vast landscapes that just blend from one detailed backdrop into the other. It effectively captures the scope of the terrain as well as just the carnage of the First World War. There aren't as many World War I movies as there are films that cover World War II, and this movie does a great job of just pulling you into the brutality of the war, specifically during this era. It was inhumane and beyond the word brutal, with human life seeming to have no importance other than to fight this war, and I felt the effects of this were captured throughout the characters and even more so from just the constant visuals. I thought the production design was phenomenal. Director Sam Mendes and cinematographer Roger Deakins truly do need to be commended for creating a visual style that showed no lack of detail. The color palette is a little bit muted. It gives the film that time period feel, and for a project this large scale to have no signs of just studio polish, I gotta say, was pretty awesome. It creates a mood and atmosphere as these two soldiers trek across just ravaged battlegrounds littered with bodies and various stages of decay. These constant visual cues going on behind the characters were able to tell the story of the war on their own without the need of dialogue. As the movie progressed, my eyes were always scanning the screen, simply taking in all the visuals, just imagining what it would be like to be in the place of these or any other soldier that fought in this war. I imagined what I would do in the position of these two young soldiers, how I would react to things, and I gotta say it commanded my attention for the runtime. This is really a war-based film that I would say took its own path. It's continually intense and very unsettling, but the large climactic battles and violent skirmishes are kind of toned down and not nearly the focus. There's a just very grounded, matter-of-fact approach taken to the structure of the film, and I absolutely loved it because it delivers the intended emotional impact but never feels over the top or theatrical. I think it really did enable me to connect much easier to the dramatic situations because it never really felt like that was the filmmaker's intention, despite that clearly being the case. The musical scoring, I would say, was a major factor to that. I think often in war movies, the climactic score can often reveal the intention of wanting the viewer to feel the weight of a situation. I don't think that at all hinders the following scenes, but through the score there's that, I would say, subconscious guidance that the emotional energy is increasing. Here, the methodical, foreboding score from Thomas Newman built intensity, yet never seemed larger than the moment, which added to the realistic tone perfectly. As for drawbacks, they were definitely minimal, and I guess they could be classed as issues based on my personal taste. I think the performances from both Mackay and Chapman were top-notch, and with minimal time for character development, you really do get to know what you need about them to properly invest. Plus, with their physical effort and just capturing the seamless flow to this story was spot on to make them feel like just, I guess you could say, common soldiers tasked with a very uncommon mission. But as a person like myself who really thrives on characters and their narratives, I did find myself just wanting to learn a little bit more. I think this is where the dialogue didn't really have that urgency that I think it needed. animated. I just felt like there were moments of conversation that could have told us more about these men. Admittedly, there are scenes that do have some foundation to who these men, and it was formed very naturally, but there was also some moments where meaningless back and forth kind of took the focus off of using these conversations to subtly tell us more about the personal motivation of these men, which I would have preferred over them just telling old stories to each other to pass the time. Again, it's very minor nitpicks on my part, but nothing that greatly hindered this from being a complete work of art. So in the end, I'm going to give 1917 95%. It was a beautiful piece of filmmaking. Mendes and Deacon create a thing of beauty that is as immersive as I can remember in the genre. I think McKay and Chapman carry it with phenomenal performances, and for 2 hours it pulls you back into the clutches of World War I to imagine how it was fought and to just experience what these soldiers experienced. It's going to break your heart in places. It's going to capture the determination of human spirit and others. The visual appeal is just absolutely through the roof, but never over the top. And if you like war-based movies, this is one that is not to be missed on the big screen. Now for today's My Silver Screen recommendations, I'm going to be selecting some other very well-crafted war films. First, of course, being Saving Private Ryan. It's one of the best in the genre. Next up is Platoon from 1986, that's centered on the Vietnam War. And finally, a more recent film that I thought was absolutely amazing from 2016, being Hacksaw Ridge, set in World War II. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.